was a professional athlete for 7 years. She worked with the top leaders in the health, fitness, coaching and wellness industry in the UK and around the world. Her extraordinary experience laid the foundation for becoming the UK leading feminine peak performance enhancement specialist, focusing on hormonal and gut health, mindset, conscious body transformation, and holistic leadership. Now, Daria is the CEO and founder of HPM Wellness and Daria Tiesler Wellness. Her mission is to help midlife women entrepreneurs level up their performance game to thrive. Daria's work challenges old beliefs and patterns and sets you up for redefining yourself. I warmly welcome Daria Tiesler. Welcome to BrandsTalk.
Thank you so much, Bridget, and thank you for having me in this, I feel, unusual environment for me, because I would never expect to get an invitation from a podcast that talks about brand, right? Challenging experience for me, and yes, let's shine together. Thank you so much for having me once again.
You're so welcome. I'm so glad to have you because you have a very, very interesting story to tell, your own personal story, because you had a life of 7 years of being a professional athlete. So I would like to ask you, how was that life as an athlete? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, it's been since, I think, March 2022 when I really started to share my story. Possibly was a time for me when I got transformed, and my story is not anymore hurting me, but actually empowering me. And I still, believe me or not, I have dreams when I cannot play, right? When something happening around and I cannot play. So there is still, I feel, some transition on my conscious level, blend with subconscious feelings and emotions that are coming out as I am going through my story. So that is probably one of the most important points I want to make, that will come a moment in anyone's life or life of this midlife woman when she will have to really embrace this crap, this pain, this difficulty that she went through for different reasons at different lifetime, either in her 30s, either in her 20s, like it was for me, to realize that she is not her story anymore. And I think that was for me the biggest awakening, because I felt like I was dragging myself into the story and wasn't this empowering in any mean at all. And I decided to share, but at the same time I decided to redefine as I am speaking in a present moment. So I'm not rewiring my nervous system to keep going into my past experiences. But it was a very intense 7 years. I was hoping that it's going to go for longer. I started playing sports at very early stage, 9-10 years old. And Bridget, there was an interesting fact which I actually picked because it was that confusion about me playing 17 years, right? I really think that was much longer than 7, because when I've entered into being a young athlete, doesn't matter if I was in a junior level, I entered with a full vision, full focus, full determination. And this is where already all of this starts and all of this shapes. That then is the determination to continue with what you have envisioned for yourself. So if we plus up all years, maybe we'll come up to 17 years. So at age 17, I was picked up by sport hunters, if we can say it that way, managers in sports who were looking for people, athletes to play in a first division in handball in Poland. I'm coming from a very small town in Poland. That was a second. I was playing at that time in a team which played in a second league, much lower than first division. And yes, at age 17, I decided to leave my home, leave my family, leave my siblings, my friends. It was the year when I would go to the A-level and following my dream. It was a huge dream, and because it was so embedded in me, that was giving me a strength to carry on. I told my husband recently, as I've been thinking about this, would I go through it once again? Know it, what I will go through in the first 2 years of my life in a completely different city. I tell like that, there are two parts of me. If I did not have a strong vision of what I want, very strong, it's like from inside you, I wouldn't go. Because it was so painful. The separation from my family, I think that was one of the biggest problem which I think create my anxieties at some point. I was missing them so much. But every single day I was reminding myself, why do I do this? What is the purpose? What do I want to achieve? Because success is not coming from the day one when I've joined a team. And then I played for 2-3 years in the team that bought me, and then I moved to another league, to Premiership Poland, and I was that at the age of 20, and then around 2 years I played at the top level. I won 2 bronze medals. My team won a gold medal in Championship of Poland. At the year when I actually got injury, so I played only half. No, I actually didn't play, but I was on the recovery process, right? So it was painful experience because my team is playing for the top trophy, and that was my dream. One of my dreams. Another of my dreams was to play for national team, and again, I didn't share this with many of even my friends who played with me. When I got bought again to different club during my injury, was amazing because that was a belief in you that was coming from an environment that I was growing. So it's not just you, it's the environment that surrounds you, that motivates you, that telling you you can do it. I did not grow up in an environment that tells you you cannot do it. And this is that transition that I had when I moved to London, with injury, without speaking English. And then suddenly you're like, oh, suddenly everyone tells you you're not good enough, you cannot do it. And then definitely, if not my athletic mindset and what I have developed over those years, I would struggle much more. I struggled, but I had resources and tools to allow me to keep going. Yes, and then so I just come back to that letter quickly. So yes, during that injury in my 3rd or 4th club, I've got a letter inviting me to play for a national team. I used to come sometimes with my friend and support. I got few invitations when I was a junior, but that was actually the first proper invitation, which I couldn't take it because I never came back to play sports professionally. And I think what again comes to me as I'm speaking with you, the brave decision that I had to make. After 2 years, I got injured at 22, and by age 24, I decided to move to London. And I did all my best in my knowledge knowledge of doctors for the first 2 years, and then was obvious for me I cannot play. And the quick decision, and they say the best leaders making the decision quickly, right? I've made the decision. I say thank you. I told thank you to directors of the club for a support. I told them I don't want more money from you. I cannot take it. I have some of my values, and I said thank you. And that in that moment, I'm deciding to move to London. And that was another challenge. I didn't speak English, no money. My parents borrowed money. I got money from my godfather, from my grandma, collecting all of this to search for a new identity, to search for a new meaning. That is the shortcut of it. I really have to explore deeper my journey in that stage as well.
Yeah, this is so interesting. Thank you so much for telling us the background and your story, because there is so much we learn from it. Because in order to be an athlete, a performance athlete, you really have to have that vision, what you want to achieve. You need to have your goals. And you also need to know why you're doing that. So you need to have that in order to really succeed, to level up, to become better and always be the best version of yourself and elevating your best version. And then things like that happen, you're getting injured, and then you can't do it anymore. Then you have to pivot. So the best version that who you are, this identity suddenly is not possible anymore to go forward with. You have to change, you have to take on a new goal, a new identity that you want to become. So how do you grow into that? How do you change into that? I suppose this is something very difficult, because you have very high goals that you're setting as a performance athlete. So how was that change for you? How did you cope with it?
Exactly, it's the coping, right? We want to thrive, but at this stage you cope, or you numbing things, or you don't allow them to unravel more. Why? Because once you know inside that still something is not right. But the thing is, I feel for so many years I was coping and numbing, and because I had 3 knee surgeries and no one of them was successful. And I had, as I've realized over time, and that's probably was already 10, 11 years within my journey and life in London, that I had some form of depression, some form of like personality breakdown, because I've realized that I am a very good personal trainer, because that is the path I have taken. I said always was in sport, right? My knee was going not for professional level of playing, but I still want to be within sport. And as I've done a personal training course, I remember today telling to my teacher, listen, I don't know if I want to do this, because what is there for me? That is my passion that is going to be given to people. Now it's not about me, now it's about people, right? So I think I was still intuitively following what I loved, what was giving me pleasure, what was giving me joy and happiness, as I am also thinking what was defining me in the matter of making me to feel better about myself, so that self-worth thing. Mm-hmm. You know? And so that was what was allowing me to carry on. But the journey, Bridget, was, I think I numb most of the stuff. I didn't understand them. I was going then into nutritional therapy, to helping people more, into life coaching. And one thing, when I was doing my own coaching for myself, one time my coach asked me, what makes you excited? And I remember I said, there is nothing as exciting as playing sports, because the dopamine, the adrenaline, the rush, all these emotions that are coming the moment you are actually hearing the whistle, before you have all these fun digestive issues, as I always had. But this is the moment, this is the biggest present moment you are in. You get in the ball and you don't care. If you fail, you move on. If you fail, you move on. You forgetting about the past. But then I told him, you know what? Being with people, inspiring people, motivating them, talking to them, sharing, it's what also gives me this feeling. I didn't know how to reach this at that time. It was probably 10 years ago now, or 8-9 years ago, because I still was within my story, was dragging me. I cannot do this, I cannot do that. And then in 2014, in 2012 to 2014, I've met someone, I went for a course. So again, I want to encourage people to search for a solution. Solution may not come, but you cannot lose this positive emotion, which is hope. Some people against hope. For me, hope will believe that things will change. My knee will get better, were allowing me to keep going. So in 2018, I met a physiotherapist and Douglas Hill, and he was doing a course that was using acupuncture as a method to release the trigger points. And that was beginning of my healing journey, because he did treatment on me and around my knee, and I saw how much anger, frustration, lack of forgiveness for me, for everyone around, why no one understood me was coming up during this therapy. And then I realized, you know what, I need to pick myself up, somehow use all the strength is left and go for another surgery. And then that's what is fantastic. Once again, you have a vision of what you want, things began to fall in place. You suddenly meeting people, even I have goosebumps right now. You're meeting suddenly people that are aligning with what you want. You're meeting surgeon, you're meeting therapists, you meet another surgeon, you meet consultants. Even I got help to go on NHS in London Bridge for a surgery, right? I said, please put me, because I need to come out from this, right? You will align with those people, and I know this, right? But again, because I had my focus and I had surgery. And again, one thing I want to stress out here, Bridget, and that's very important, and if anyone can take the only one thing from it, please take it this one. At some point, your story will, as I said, drag you and will become your enemy, right? Until you don't make peace with it. And I told myself, consciously, so this is very important, tell yourself on a conscious level that this problem will not become anymore your excuse or your limit to live the life you want. Because that's what's happened with me. Over 13 years of seeing myself walking badly, I cannot do this, I cannot be this, I cannot be that. You identify yourself with an injured person. So yes, there was a mechanical problem with my knee that was not resolved. And body was telling me that, so do not ignore body symptoms, and do not tell anyone to tell you you're bullshitting, it is just all in your mind, because that's not also true. So I want that people work from the body level. But then you have to be brave to tell yourself no more this limit. Because people, you can go, get better, and this is what I see in my practice. Women get slimmer, they're losing weight, they are getting healthier, their skin gets better, and all symptoms of energy disappear, but they still coming back to the root cause of the problem. So I told myself consciously, no more using my knee as an excuse. And that was 2014, and funny, 12 years after my first surgery, I had a much better results than within the first year. That's what is amusing me, is the power of mind. I do believe, and I've read the books, Mind over Body. There are research on that, but do not also neglect your body signs.
Yeah, it's about really digging deep, and you're going on this soul-searching mission, and you doing this mindset work. And I really believe that we have to go through all these struggles and also through this pain that we are feeling, in order to find our purpose. And once you have that, then you have also your vision. And as you say, and I think that's really important to make peace with that, and turn it around and say, okay, what is it that I have to take away out of that? Because there is the solution in it. That's the purpose. And so for you, it was to start your own business after all. So you became CEO and the founder of HPM Wellness and Daria Tiesler Wellness. What are you doing exactly? You say your mission is to help midlife women entrepreneurs leveling up their performance, aim to thrive. How do you do that? What is it that you are offering? What makes you stick out as a brand?
Yes, thank you so much, Bridget, for asking this question. And this is where 17 years comes, right? Because I moved to London 2004. I studied at sports university. So imagine, I've been in sports and seen athletes around because they were studying also at my university. So that was my environment. So as I moved to London, I said, okay, I'm going to do this personal training career. I continue that. And 2010, I have started to work in a body transformation company called Ultimate Performance. It was a great experience, intense environment, which I feel my athletic mind was like it, right? I met great coaches, great trainers, and great experiences. And then as I was getting clients, so that was when I set up Daria Tiesler Wellness in 2007 as a self-employed. HPM Wellness is, I would say, my dream transition, because I finally become brave in 2020, actually during pandemic. Pandemic actually put me, you have to put your vision forward as a brand, right? It's not just a, okay, personal brand is fine, but I was working under being self-employed, and that at some point become not enough. Because I said, I cannot share more. I don't want to just be loaded with customers, and I burn out twice. So, because I said, I cannot keep giving more and more if I am feeling unwell. So that is also the that transition that I had into, why I had transitioned into HPM Wellness. But in the meantime, I was doing nutritional therapy, so I finished College of Naturopathic Medicine, where I was taught how to address the root causes of diseases. So it's really lifestyle and preventative approach when we're addressing our gut, nervous system, right? It is not woo-woo-wah-wah. There is so much research about this, right? And I believe in two ways of support human being, as a medicine and as a art. They come in hand to hand. And then, as I told you before, being a coach was always in me. I love performance. My friends from my team back then, they always would be like, I see them, they always wanted to be someone with me on the front of the group because I was very fit. And I never thought that actually I'm giving them that boost to carry on, and they wanted to be better. And because I was very fast, they couldn't catch me. So there was like very, very healthy competition. So that moment of being a leader, performing to your best self. And as I'm saying, over 17 years, I have seen many clients, many women who are coming with constant problem of weight gain. But I've realized over time that this problem is not just outside, it's inside the body, it's biochemical, it's physiological, it's emotional, it's a mindset, it's a connection of them with an environment. And in 2020, I also had my daughter just 9 months before I have set up my LTD company. I'm like, my dream always was to put body, mind, emotions, heart, as I've learned, of express my heart's desires, performance, and holism into one. And this is where what we do at HPM Wellness. It is still, I would say, tough journey as a brand, because women want, oh, I just want to get slim. Oh, I just want to have more energy. But the mainstream media is always talking about this physical manifestation of the symptom. I want them to explore beyond. And women often are afraid, men also, to go deeper, to go beyond. And they stuck in with the story that is dragging them. And why did I want to focus on midlife women? Because I am midlife woman right now. I'm 42. I see big need for information, for support in that age, and midlife is very subjective when it's starting. Millennials have different idea when it starts than Gen Z or Gen X. So those women from 35 up, when we're having so many things going, and life crises, weight gain, breakdown, getting pregnant, another pregnancy, all kind of overlapping losses. Right? I've lost within 2 years 4 people, right? I would never think. So losses. And then what is further my mission, Bridget, as I'm hearing so much about menopause, I see this as a transition. I don't see this as a disease, right? And I see as a life stage change. So yes, we have to be talking more about this as a life change of women. But what I want women to understand after that is life. Is that you have to find the purpose as well when you go on your treatments, whichever way you go, medical or natural. You have to find why you're doing this, because symptoms may disappear to some women, but if you don't find the reason why to continue your life, why to change the job you hate, why you retired, maybe you didn't want, you wanted to start your business, but inside you are feeling self-worth, low confidence, low self-love, whatever you're talking this way, the treatments won't be enough because you still haven't addressed the root cause. But I know that when you're stronger mentally, physically, emotionally, at all levels, it's going to be easier for you to continue your life. And as we know, life expectancy is extending, but there is a deprivation in which way people age. So my goal is not lifespan, is health span. I want my women at 40, 50, 60, 35 be strong and resilient across wholeness, right? Across everywhere, and that they're healthy, right? And that is the redefinition of health. So that is in a nutshell.
Wonderful. I think that it's really beautiful to see that your former life as a performance athlete has given birth to services. That's what you're offering right now. I think that is beautiful, and you still live it through your services. It gives it a special meaning. It's your singular thing that makes you stick out here as a brand in this coaching market. Speaking about brands and speaking about being our best version, what does a strong personal brand mean to you?
Oh, I love this. As I said, took me by surprise when I got an invitation from you. But as been said, I've done lots of work on it for the last 3, 4, 5 years. Actually, I started learning about online business in 2012, but I just picked the website and the opt-in box from it. I'm like, where have I been for those years? I would be in a probably different position. For me, it was about authentic brand. I'm correct?
Strong person.
Yes.
Comes along.
Yes. Makes sense. Took me long time to find what this means. But you know why? Because I didn't want to be that brand as a brand, right? And as for me, there is that saying which is true for me: as you grow, your brand will grow. And I think I had very slow personal growth outside of my story for way too long. And then suddenly within months, I said that is enough. And then all those transformations started to happen. So that is for me the strong brand. When you are becoming enough, again, peaceful with yourself from inside, or you starting to discovering your richness inside that is not defined by outside environment. Right? Not defined by money, by the body, by the beauty, by your success, and by your achievement. And that is what I'm also embracing when I bring my daughter. Right? I don't want that her achievements defining her, because this is not how self-worth comes. Self-worth comes from inside. So that is what is for me a strong brand. When you, with peace, openness, authenticity, talking through what's happened possibly for you, but in a meaningful way that can transform someone else's life and actually can be inspiring rather than pulling them down.
That's great. Yeah, absolutely. And what do you think are the 3 branding mistakes that you wished you had avoided, or that you think are the mistakes that shall be avoided at all?
Oh, I've done many of them. Please, that I could avoid them. So number 1 is definitely, in today's era, at the beginning, we probably don't need a big designer of the website. We could use platforms. Like I've got my website on Squarespace as a Daria Tiesler. I've done before 3 times with website designer. It was complete waste of money. I'm not saying that was their fault. I'm saying that probably I was not defining enough what I want.
Yes, this is...
And that is the problem at the start. You're so easy distracted by what everyone tells you. So if you are able to find this definite purpose on the brackets of definite what you want, right? And how you want to communicate is going to be easier. So then your communication with a designer is better, right? So I'm not blaming them. If I knew this now, I would avoid spending £5,000-10,000 on websites, right? And I could now invest in a different way of marketing myself. So that is number one. Number two is I've stopped to listen. Sometimes still is difficult. You're scrolling through this Instagram, you're scrolling through LinkedIn, whatever, what everyone else is saying. And I've decided to stick to few leaders, for example, for me, in what I want, few leaders who I really connect with. It's not even about their programs, but in what they say resonates with me. Because again, we are having many people who say content creation, online courses, use this way for YouTube, this way you do Twitter, this video, then you need hundreds of accounts on social media. That was too much for me. And actually, I found a teacher, Angelita Prevost, and she was the one who said, just stay authentic to yourself. If this is not working for you and it's creating stress and it's making you overwhelmed, so you don't want to follow your passion because it's just too much, you just choose one thing, or you don't do it, or find different way you communicating. And this is what I've done. I've done lots of PR for myself. Through LinkedIn, I found LinkedIn amazing platform for me. It's much easier for me to communicate. I can be authentic. It's just me, right? And I've created so many amazing contacts and connections, which I would never probably create on LinkedIn, but on Instagram. But for someone else, Instagram is fantastic. For me, it was causing me distress, right? So I think find yourself in all of this. So again, comes back to your own values, your own beliefs, your own vision, who you are today. And probably this would be my strategy if I had to teach someone, rather than just going around and buying this course, buying that course. And there is tons of courses around, and they're amazing courses, but they have to work for you. And number three, I said authentic brand. I think that one. Spending again money, too many platforms. Once one works for you, don't go for another one. And that's also I have done. I've used Zoom before, did work for me for recording, for example, of my podcast. Different platforms were also working, but still I was like, I cannot handle the technology right now. I want to look better. I want to have better pixel and look whatever. But that is what I will stuck with. So I've actually over time deleted subscriptions. I said what I really need. We all want to have these amazing studios and all these lightings, right? And I have some of too. So I did definitely improved. But I was, I think, waiting for two to be perfect. But again, I've assessed this. Why I behave. I've got camera, I've got this, and I'm still not showing up. I've realized I am just perfectionist. Sport was cool, but sport is a perfection. You're perfecting a moment, you're perfecting a shot, right? And during the game, you go and you practice what you have been perfecting for 7 months, but you are exposed to that trigger. When you are working as an entrepreneur, you actually have to go out yourself. No one is going to kick you. And often we are lonely on our journey. And I only one more thing, because as is coming, joining communities where are women that are fitting your values and beliefs, because they're going to kick your ass a little bit, and we all need, and don't be shy that you also need it.
Yeah.
So we have 4 tips.
You have to kick ourselves. You have to be consistent in our messaging. And also when it comes to different social media channels, the different touch points, to also be consistent, to move your brain from one touch point to the next touch point, and here stay consistent. And as you say, community is everything. You really have to surround yourself with like-minded people that lift you when you are in a situation that you think, I can't do it anymore, I'm exhausted. Being in a community, having people, accountability partners that help you over these moments, this is just amazing.
Yeah, and that is I think big problem with women. They don't want, many of them do, right? So let's don't generalize, but I think we need to be more coachable, right? But that again comes with insecurities inside ourselves. What maybe other women will think about me. We come in those type A personalities women, right, that actually have this drive to get and achieve something. They often, I don't want to listen because maybe she will think something about me. She wants to empower you and inspire you and wants to share a story that together will be just easier. And I think women, and I had clients like that telling me that they didn't want to share their struggles. That was one of the reasons they were stuffing themselves with food as an emotional expression of inability to communicate, right?
Yeah, I think it's this, we do not want to show our vulnerability to others. Yes. Yeah, but I think that is the opposite, because if we show we are more authentic and people can resonate with us and can better help us. So I think you really need to change our mindset here.
Yes.
And changing that, I have one more question to you. Do you have any helpful advice on how we can take action now to redefine ourselves, to be able to take on an identity that gets us into our sweet spot, that gets us into our best version? What can we do now?
I could talk and talk about this, but I think, just taking this from my last coaching session with my group, there is one of my clients that I have been working for 2-3 years. She came to me with idea of this quick body transformation, quick fat loss. And I always knew that it's not going to be quick, but they want quick. So she got quick, but the body is changing, the inside is not changing, right? So I knew that her thought and emotions as a reason, as a further down the line to subconscious mind has to change. She took her 2 years, and I allowed her, even sometimes I was frustrated because again she was dragging into her story, to repeat the same things over and over again. Finally she clicked and she said, it's actually these things I do. And I'm like, yes, because even if I keep pointing to someone, we don't want to hear it. Yeah. So there is a space when we as a coaches have to leave someone to go into this discovery process. So what is my point here? You know very well inside you, because we amazing human beings with amazing potential, that there is something that triggers why you cannot move to the next step. What is your limits? And do not blindly believe that you can just forget about this trigger, because this trigger will come back, if not this week, next week, if not this month, next month, if not this year, next year. And your body is going to keep telling you this. So be connected with your embodiment, with your awareness within the body. And I think many people are also not. But the moment you hear this conversation between your body, emotions, and mind, right, is this amazing energy field that's happening, act. Even act to change, act to transform. Even you do this once, and then you let go, and your awareness will disappear to come again. Do it again, because this way you will be rewiring new patterns and new paths in your nervous system. And in your body, physical manifestation in your body will take time to change, because nervous system is just remembering, right? And this happened with me very often when I'm speaking with some authoritarian personality, right? When I see as a big person, or I see they have lots of confidence, I've got this sweats, my body is getting like very weird, and I'm now reminding myself that this is my past experience, which my body feels, but this is not me anymore. But like I'm saying, when this awareness comes, and you have few seconds before, you have this heart talk, intuition saying, oh, but you're choosing this. That's okay. Accept that, and be like winner in this situation, because noticing, it's already huge achievement. Changing is another thing, but noticing, right? So this was exactly with me. I didn't invent the wheel here. There are better people than I talking about this, but I think that's what I would say. Notice and walk with it. Notice and walk with it. And that would be my advice, because as I said, your business will grow as you will grow. When you stack, your business will stack. So I work with entrepreneurial female of Women Win Business, and if I gently ask about what's going on there is like some problems, stuckness. I'm like, okay, when is stuckness in you? Yeah. And I think we have to start to connecting. There are some movements now calling body business, but we have to connecting them both. And this is where I talk about the holistic leadership, or holistic branding, or holistic performance, right? We have to add that human-like experience to whatever we do. We're not just strategy, we're not just goals, we're not just this physical manifestation of what we do, but we are everything else.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, noticing, that means really having the awareness and then accepting what is. And once you have that, you can take action. Wonderful. Yes. So before we are finishing up our live today, Daria, I would like to do some rapid fire terms with you. I throw out a term and I would love you to answer top of mind.
I'm excited about it. I don't know what will come, but let's go. Okay. Let's unravel.
Very short answers, okay? Performance.
Love.
Limiting beliefs.
Overcome.
Identity.
Myself.
Woman empowerment.
Start now.
And last but not least, brands. What does a brand mean to you?
Beautiful.
Daria, thank you so much. Where can listeners find you? On your homepage?
Yes, on the LinkedIn, Daria Tiesler website, www.hpmwellness.com or www.dariatiesler.com.
Okay.
Instagram, also social media, but yes, on LinkedIn, probably Daria Tiesler. You can DM me if you need any support.
I will put everything into the show notes. Yeah?
Thank you so much.
All right, Daria, thank you so much for being my guest today on BrandsTalk. Having you here was a real pleasure to learn how we can overcome old beliefs, change identity, and redefine ourselves. Thank you, Daria.
Thank you so much, Bridget. Thank you for having me. And indeed, that was an empowering conversation. And I hope both of us will learn from it. As we're repeating, reframing, we're still learning and growing from it.